Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just trying to warm this
No,
up.
go ahead.
Hi, my name is Bill Myers, and I'm back home in the middle of where all the activities started here in Greenville, North Carolina. The area that we're standing in today is called The Block. Probably still is called The Block. It's a spot that everybody in Greenville knew where it was located. If someone said, "I'll meet you on The Block," there's no question about it, this was The Block because it was the hub of activities in the black community. This area is behind what we call The Block. This used to be Imperial Tobacco Company here, where everybody had seasonal work. And this little street I'm going down over here now is Barners Lane. And there are a lot of people who lived on Barners Lane, including me. I lived right across the street over there, which you see isn't too far from The Block. So obviously I was in the middle of a lot of activity that would happen on The Block, both day and night, because a lot of people didn't go to sleep too much who lived near The Block. Early in my life that I knew I wanted to be a musician because I loved that kind of life. The musicians who used to sit out here in this corner and play the guitar, play the harmonicas, or play everything else that you could imagine. Then little juice hops would play right out here. And I as a boy would come down and listen to them play. So I was inspired, if you will, by just watching and listening. Back in my day when I was a child here, people would do what we call a sitting up. Not sitting up, but sitting up. Now, what sitting up referred to was a wake that would be held in somebody's home. In other words, when a person would pass away, the body would be brought to that person's home, laid out in the living room, and persons would come from far and near to come to the sitting up. Now, the sitting up wound up being a huge celebration. There would be food, and plenty of liquor. So you didn't necessarily have to know the person who was dead. You just have to know where the sitting up was located. So you'd go to the sitting up, and the next day they'd have the funeral at one of the local churches, and then they would go to the graveyard and put the deceased in the ground. But coming back from the graveyard, it was something that really looked like something fresh out of New Orleans, where people would parade and the Elks band would play. I can remember Mr. Charles West, who played what we call a tailgate trombone. He would always slide it way out. And I, as a little boy, would run down this street and run down behind the parades. And they would march. And what was so cool about that, they would try to outmarch each other. The old ladies would stomp and march, and the drummers would get louder, and they just go. Then the drummer had a clothes hanger, would play the cymbal on top of the bass drum and beat the drum and put out some magnificent rhythms, rhythms like you might hear in the Caribbean or someplace, but really fascinating rhythms. And the marching would go on. The people would just march and have a good time. They swing to the music and just march. But the parade would end over here at the Elks Club. But the parade would be long. Every person who was a member of the Elks would march. They'd have on their white outfits. There'd be a drum major who's leading the band, and everybody you could hear the band for miles and miles around here. So we as children would run to the parade and be down here when they would end, because they show off a little bit as they were going into the building. And so we thought that was one of the most fascinating things in the world. Now, Greenville became a hub of music activities. People like Cab Calloway, Tiny Bradshaw, Arthur Prysock, all those people would come to Greenville and play in the warehouses in here. Now, sometimes I was too young to go, but I would sit outside and listen to the bands play. And that's where I got my inspiration from hearing those bands. I said, by golly, I believe if they can do that, I can do some of that. And then finally, I got a chance to go to college and major in music, and I came back here, and I've been trying to spread the joy ever since. I feel better with a horn in my hand.